Today we are making some cozy and comforting casseroles that make great weeknight dinners. All of these recipes are quick and easy to assemble, and they have very simple ingredients. I am so ready for comfort food season, but if you're still a little bit hesitant, I think this is a good episode to get you in the mood. Well, I am so glad you're here. If we haven't met, my name is Ange, and this is the Menu Made Kitchen. Well, chicken pot pie is ultra comfort food, but we are going to be doing a chicken pot pie casserole. And there are quite a few ingredients going into this, but the only thing that we really had to prep was I did have some pre-cooked chicken, but if you don't have cooked chicken, you'll have to do that. But onions and celery, that's the only thing that you have to chop. Everything else is pantry seasonings and staples kind of thing. So we are melting down some butter and olive oil, 1 tablespoon each. And then we have a half a cup of onion and 1 large celery diced. So we'll cook down the onions and celery until they're just soft. Okay, onions and celery are softened, so we're going to add in 3 tablespoons of flour. And I'll use my whisk to kind of bring all this together. The butter and oil will kind of soak into the flour. We'll cook it for like 30 seconds or so. That looks good. So now we're going to add in 1 cup of chicken broth. And then we're also going to add in 1.5 cups of, I have 2% milk here. I'll whisk this a little bit. Kind of want to make sure that that flour dissolves in with the broth and milk. And then we'll start adding in the rest of our ingredients. And then for our dried seasonings, we have a half teaspoon each of rosemary, thyme, sage, garlic powder, salt, pepper, and oh no, I have 1 teaspoon of dried mustard, I'm sorry. And this is going to be where all of our flavor comes from. Once it comes to a light simmer, then we'll start adding in our peas and carrots, sour cream, the chicken, all the other goodies. So I have this on like a medium heat. It's just starting to bubble a little bit. We're going to add 1.5 cups of frozen peas and carrots. We have 2 cups of our cooked chicken, and I diced it, but you can definitely shred it. I have a half a cup of cheddar cheese. And then we have a 1/4 cup of sour cream. I always add sour cream to my chicken pot pie filling. It adds just a little something special to it. Now at this point, I'm going to shut the heat off because I really don't need it on anymore. This like gravy situation, it smells delicious. Almost like biscuits and gravy without the sausage. I'm actually going to taste this. I want to make sure I don't need any more salt before we put it all together. I think it doesn't need anything more. So I'm going to pull this off the heat, and then we're going to head over to the cutting board to start getting our biscuits prepared. So for our biscuit situation, we are using the Trader Joe's brand, but you can use any brand that you like, just regular old biscuits. So a little fun fact about me, I absolutely hate anything that pops. Balloons especially. Like, I will never blow up a balloon. I don't like going to kids' birthday parties where they have balloons and kids are running around popping them. Oh, that's just the worst. Opening up a can of biscuits probably takes second. But my husband is not available, so we are going to do it together, and you're going to have to hold my hand. I know it sounds crazy, but it's scary. Okay, we're going for it though. Oh my gosh. All right. You know, some of them just have so much pressure, and then it's like explosion. And then when it doesn't do it right off the bat, it's like the anticipation. Oh my gosh, it still isn't even doing it. I think this is what you do. There we go. Okay. We did it. Oh, I hate it. All right, moving on. Now that you guys know I'm a big wussy pants. So we're going to want 8 biscuits. And what we're going to do is we are going to cut these into quarters. Really simple. Now you can certainly put the casserole in a 9x13 baking dish and then just plop the biscuits right on top. But I like them to be in little smaller pieces. I just feel like it's easier to serve that way. All right, last one. So we have our casserole dish, and I did spray it with nonstick spray. And we'll add all of this amazing filling. And then we are going to place our biscuits right in our dish. You definitely don't want them super tight in there, but there doesn't need to be a bunch of spacing either. Just, you know, have fun with it. Let your kids do this part. I'm not sure that it gets any more cozier than this. Kind of adjust these a little bit so I can hopefully get all of them in here. Am I gonna make it? I am. Yay! Well, look at that. So I have my oven set at 425 and we're gonna bake this about 20 to 25 minutes. Obviously we want the biscuits to be completely puffed, golden, and cooked through because our filling is already done. And then after that, we get to taste it. This is gonna be special. Check this out. It's still super steamy. Oops, my camera got a little dark. But a little tip. So this actually was in the oven for about 25 minutes. And at like the 15-minute mark, the top of the biscuits start getting pretty golden brown, but the underside is still raw. So I just tinted it with a foil and then left it in. I checked it a couple of times because I wanted to make sure the underside biscuits were done. So mine took about 25 minutes. So, you know, gauge your timing. Every oven is a little bit different, but the little tinting of the biscuits or using a foil to tint the biscuits is a lifesaver. Otherwise you'll burn the top of the biscuits. And then you want to let it rest for like 10 minutes before you dig in. But I have all that information on the website, like all the tips and things like that. Anyway, I cannot wait to try this. And as you can see, I've got my sweater on, even though it's not really cold outside, but it is cloudy today and it definitely feels like a fall day out there. So a casserole recipe is perfect. All right. The filling is so savory. Those herbs this feels like, you know, October, November kind of meal for sure. But if you're like me and love chicken pot pie, but you don't really want to have to put together the whole pie crust, this is a great way to enjoy all those flavors. And personally, I love biscuits. And these Trader Joe's ones are actually really good. So if you haven't had the Trader Joe's biscuit brand, they're delicious. And they're organic. So, you know, there you go. It's a quick casserole, perfect for a busy weeknight, but I would make this over the weekend or like a Sunday after church. So good. For our Mexican tater tot casserole, we are going to start by browning 1 pound of ground beef. We're also going to throw in about 1 cup of onion. And I had a small green bell pepper. I just chopped that up. So tater tot casserole was my most requested birthday dinner when I was growing up, and I still love it. I actually have a recipe on my website. It's a classic tater tot casserole recipe, but it's a little bit elevated. I'll make sure to link it below if you're looking for more of the traditional. But I think this Mexican one is going to be delicious. I actually have never had a Mexican style tater tot casserole. So here we go. All we need to do is get our meat and veggies all cooked up, and then we'll start adding in the rest of our ingredients. Okay, so we do have a bit of grease in here. I'm just going to remove some of it with my paper towel. Next, we're going to add in 1 packet of this low sodium taco seasoning, or if you have like a homemade version, you can do like 3 tablespoons of that. And then we'll give this a stir and kind of toast it for a second. And then we have our 10-ounce can of enchilada sauce, and this is mild. Also going to do about 3/4 cup of roasted frozen corn. I have 1 can of black beans that I've drained and rinsed. And I am going to add in just a splash of water, maybe like 2 tablespoons. And then we'll get all this stirred together. This smells so good. So we got to add in some creaminess. We're going to do a 1/2 cup of sour cream. And I'm actually going to turn my heat off now. So all we need to do is get this in our casserole dish. We need to add some cheese. And of course, we cannot forget our crispy tater tots. Well, they'll be crispy once they're oven baked. So let's head over to the cutting board and we'll get this into our dish. All right. I did not grease my dish because this is technically a nonstick pan. And because we have our beef in there, I think it'll be fine. Talk about fast and easy. So now I'm going to add in a cup of, I've got some Jack and cheddar cheese, or just do, you know, your favorite Mexican cheese blend or something like that. And then we have our tater tots. And I'm just using the bag from Trader Joe's. I could only find the 32 ounce, but that's fine. We love tater tots and we'll definitely eat them up. I know some people just like throw the tater tots in there all scattered. I have to have them nice and lined and perfectly in a row. You'll have to let me know how you assemble your tater tot casserole. So I'm going to get the rest of these on here. We have our oven already set, 425. And then we'll bake this for about 25 to 30 minutes. The filling's already done. We just want to crisp up our tater tots. And that's it. Then we're gonna serve it up with some yummy taco toppings. It's gonna be good. So for presentation purposes, I layered some lettuce, tomato, onion down the center of the casserole, really for my photos, but you can serve all that stuff on the side and then everybody can kind of do their own thing with it. But I like it all. Give me all the taco toppings and goodies. Look at that. Woo, so good. Okay. Wowza. All right, childhood tater tot casserole. I think it has a run for its money with this one. I feel like the tater tots really tone down the Mexican flavors, but you still get those spices coming through. And it just gives it just a fun, unique taste. You get hit with the potatoes, but then you get hit with all of that delicious meat filling. This is a rock star meal. And I love that it was easy to put together. It would be perfect for a weeknight meal to throw together, but if you want something kind of cozy and comforting, this is your guy right here. So for our lemon chicken rice casserole, we need to start by getting our chicken dredged in kind of a flour mixture. I'm gonna use chicken thighs, and then I trimmed the fat around the edges so they're boneless, skinless, but you can definitely do chicken breasts. And then we are gonna do some salt and lemon pepper. I have about a half a teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of lemon pepper. And the lemon pepper, I feel like I've said that like 4 times, is the dash. So there's no sodium in that seasoning. And then we've got some Parmesan cheese, 2 tablespoons. So we'll just kind of mix this together a little. Now we are going to be using a skillet that is oven safe, and I'm going to make my casserole in that so I don't have to transfer anything. But if you don't have an oven safe skillet, just transfer it to a baking dish. So now we'll dredge our chicken. And like I said, you just want a light coating. It doesn't have to, we're not going for like fried chicken. You just want that little bit of crust on the outside. This recipe does take some time to cook in the oven, but it's very easy to put together. So I think it would be great for a weeknight, but maybe when you don't have to be out the door super quickly because of the baking time. Side note, it is the fall season, which means there are some of our favorite seasons coming out. And my mom informed me that Landman and Mayor of Kingstown is coming out in the next couple of months. I don't know if you watch any of those shows, but my husband and I kind of got into those after our daughter went away to college, and we love them. And we're so excited to get back into our seasons. You'll have to let me know what your favorite, like, Prime or Netflix seasons are right now. All right, that looks good. We are at the stove, and I have my large skillet here. Like I said, this is oven safe. And I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I want to make sure it's good and hot before I put that chicken in to make sure it sears right away. And while we're waiting, I did heat up my oven to 375, and this skillet does have a tight fitted lid. But if you do use a skillet that doesn't have a lid, you're going to want to make sure to cover it really well with foil because we're going to be cooking the rice and it's going to need to steam. Okay, it's starting to ripple a little bit. I think it's good. Yeah, pretty good. So all we need to do is brown our chicken on both sides. We don't have to cook it all the way through. Once it's good and crispy, then we'll pull it out of the skillet and start putting together the rest of the ingredients. Or actually, while this is browning, we'll head over to the cutting board and put together our rice and kind of our creamy mixture. Just kidding, we are not heading over to the cutting board because we are not going to dirty another bowl. We don't need to. All right. Oh, that looks perfect. There is a lot of great flavor in this pan, so we are going to take advantage of that. I have a couple of garlic cloves that I've minced, and then we're going to add in 3/4 cup of basmati rice. And I have rinsed this really well with cool water. Okay, so we're going to cook our garlic and kind of toast up the rice a little bit. I have accumulated quite the collection of chicken and rice recipes on my website. I'm thinking maybe I should do like some kind of a chicken and rice cookbook with like 50 different combinations. I don't know. I have a half a teaspoon each of thyme and basil. And then we're going to add in 1 cup of chicken broth. I'm going to use this second to kind of scrape all those goodies off the bottom of the pan. And then for our creamy part, I am actually using a can of cream of chicken. I don't typically cook with a lot of canned soups, but I do really like this Pacific Foods brand. It's organic. It's a few dollars more than, you know, your leading brand, but the flavor is really good. I don't mind spending a couple extra dollars, especially since, or it's maybe like an extra dollar, since I don't cook with it all that often. And turn the heat down just a little bit. And then we are going to zest in some lemon zest. Maybe like half of this lemon. That looks good. The garlic and the lemon zest with the dried herbs. Yum. And then the only thing we need to do is add our chicken back. Boy, I'm just full of it today. That was not the last step. I am going to put these lemon slices in here, because obviously it's a very lemony kind of situation. That looks fabulous. This is ready to go. So I'm going to put the lid on, and like I said, we'll place it in the oven at 375, and we're going to bake it about 45 to 60 minutes. We want the chicken to be cooked through, but obviously we want the rice to be nice and tender as well. And then after that, it is ready to taste. This is going to be so good. My house smells like the combination of garlic and like citrus. So a lot of the recipes that I saw online for like a lemon creamy chicken casserole it was all done in a casserole dish. But what I like about cooking this in the skillet is the bottom of the rice gets kind of toasty and golden brown. So you get little crispy bits in there, which I think is going to be fantastic. Okay, this is going to be a big bite, but look, it's cooked perfectly. It's not like super creamy. I just feel like the rice is very moist. It has lots of flavor, but that crispy bottom, that's where it's at. This was very fast to put together. I think it's gonna be fantastic for a weeknight, but even for a weekend when you're feeling a little bit lazy, this would be a great recipe. Well, hopefully these recipes gave you some excitement for this new season. Here's another video with some cozy and comforting meals. Thanks for spending time with me today. We will definitely see you next time.